Hi there, Forest River owners. Today in your 2015 Forest River Vengeance, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install Redline's bumper and plunger in a 2-inch length for a door stopper and holder. The plunger and bumper from Redline is going to be an easy way for you to keep a door in the open position and also to prevent it from contacting any of your components to cause damage to those components. So this is a really nice setup if you don't have a solution for your door, if your door just swings open. There are some other options. You can get just like the plunger with the bumper on it to where it would just hit the door to keep it from damaging any of your components. There's also another style where it's like a hook, where you'll hook it into either the door or the other side here, and it's just a metal hook that holds it. This one is going to be one of the easiest kind of setups though, as far as the fastest. With the hook style, if you want to use that one, you have to hold the door over. You got to bring that hook and line it up in the slot just right. Now, I will say I do like that style because it is fairly secure, but it is a little bit more work on your part to get it set up. You got to line that thing up to get it all in there. This one, you just kind of open the door and it does what it needs to do. The issue with just the bumper style ones is it doesn't hold your door. So if you have a heavy crosswind or anything like that, your door could potentially swing open or closed. So this is going to give you the added benefits of being able to open a door and just utilize your screen without worrying about it opening and causing any damage, or the wind slamming it shut and causing damage to your door. And we can close our screen door and then turn on a vent fan or something on the inside to enjoy some nice fresh airflow while our door stays open here. And it is fairly secure. These little bumpers are no joke as far as how hard it is to push it in and out. I mean, I got to give it a pretty good tug to get it out of there. So there ain't no way wind's going to grab that. Just ain't going to happen. It's really strong. Same with pushing it open. You can pretty much just take your body weight though and lean into it, and that'll snap that right in there for you. You can install it wherever you want on the door, but I do kind of recommend installing it in a location roughly where you're going to be using your hand in most situations to get the best pull directly on the mechanism there. And these plungers, you can purchase this same setup from Redline in various lengths. We're showing off the 2-inch model, but if you needed a shorter one, makes it closer to the door. The closer to the door it is, the more secure it's going to be from wind and stuff like that. But if you got components you need to clear, you're going to need that extra distance. So now that we've covered some of the features of our bumper, if you want to follow along with us, we'll show you how to get it installed. So we're going to begin our installation here by determining where we want to put this. This door used to have a shock absorbing mechanism on it, a little tiny shock dampener, so the door wouldn't open this far. But when the steps were changed over, the shock absorber that it had on it no longer will function with those steps. So they don't want the door just flapping open, potentially damaging their speaker grill, the speaker itself, or any other components here. These are just plastic, and plastic things get hit by the sun like this get very brittle in a pretty short amount of time. A couple of years, they can actually get quite brittle outside. So what we're going to do is we're going to take both of these two pieces here. If you take a look, you'll see that they do kind of snap together there, and it's a nice tight fit, so that way it'll hold the door. I'm going to go ahead and yeah, it's really tight, but there you go. You can see they do snap together. This is what I recommend doing first, just so you can verify that that's going to be the right length and kind of just see where you're planning on positioning it. Now you can put it at the bottom if you want, top corner. I kind of recommend putting it more towards the middle though, because if you were to put it at the very bottom corner or the very top corner, and if you're normally opening and closing your door by pulling from the middle, you're going to be kind of putting some stress on your door hinges because it's going to be holding it down here, but you're going to be putting like a pressure on it here. That's going to make it kind of pivot. So we want to try to put it in a pretty close location to where we're going to be grabbing the door to make sure we're pulling it straight out of the plunger. It'll also be easier on your material. It's on your sidewall and in your door, holding these components in place. So we're going to start with the ball side here. I did take some butyl tape and I just shoved it inside of there. That's going to help seal it up for when we mount it on the wall. It doesn't let moisture enter inside. So we are just going to use some screws to put it in. You do not get any screws with your kit though, so you will have to provide your own. So I've already determined that I wanted to put it about here. I went ahead and made a mark. And then the outside of our camper here actually is like a fiberglass material. So I do recommend making a small pilot hole, just kind of through that fiberglass until you hit the wood. And then that way we can guarantee that our fastener is going to get a nice bite. Now we're going to be using a just a Phillips head screw here, or that also accepts a number 2 square bit. It's roughly about an inch in length. I'd say maybe an inch and a quarter. That should be good. You don't want to penetrate all the way through your wall, so something small like this. What I usually like to do is I'll just hold it up to my door. If it's not going to penetrate through my door, it's likely not going to penetrate through your wall either, because the thickness should be very similar to the one. So you can see here our screw's definitely not going to penetrate through the inside. So now that we've kind of made that determination, I'm going to go ahead and stick my screw through the center here, kind of get it through that butyl tape just to the point where it's poking through there, so I can line it up with the small hole that I had drilled. We'll just kind of poke it in there like that, get that butyl tape to kind of stick. And we're going to switch over to either your Phillips or number 2 square bit and get that mounted. And that feels nice and solid. It doesn't twist. We have no gap all the way around it. And our butyl tape should be sealing that up for us there. Now we're going to take the other side, and we are going to use some butyl tape on it as well. I'm going to go ahead and poke it in there. That way when we go to shut the door, we can kind of line it up where we need it to go. So we're going to go ahead and take our butyl tape here, and we're going to fill in that inner cavity just like we did this one. If you need some butyl tape, you can get some here at eTrailer. And just nice filler. We're going to make sure we just fill up the entire inner of that cavity, just to make sure we get the best sealant possible. You don't want leaks into your door. It can lead to premature damage of your components because the moisture will damage the material, and can also lead to mold and other issues. So we really want to make sure we get this sealed up. All right, so that looks pretty good right there. We're going to go ahead and take our door now. We're going to open it up, get it lined up to where our plunger has a pretty good spot on it right there, kind of twist it to where it looks pretty good. We kind of know roughly where it's going to go. We'll just kind of line it back up, make sure our plunger is going to hit, and that looks like it's about right on where it needs to be. We can always take any excess butyl tape that's kind of squeezing out the outside, and we can or just take a little razor knife or something and clean all that off. So we're just making sure we do get it lined up. That all looks good. Maybe center it just a little bit so our 2 fasteners that are going to hold this side in place are lined up with one another, kind of on the same level. That looks pretty good. Double check our plunger's going to hit. That all looks very good there. So now we're just going to take our fasteners and run these in. These ones are going to be we're going to use a little bit smaller fastener on this side. And I like to leave it just a smidge loose when we start the next one. And then we can run them in. See where our plunger lines up. A little bit low, it's okay. We can manipulate that just a little tiny bit there. Just push that up just a hair, and then snug it back down. Recheck our plunger, and that feels pretty good. Snaps into place for us. So we'll clean up our butyl tape now, and this side looks pretty good. It has a much bigger lip on it, so you can really fill that cavity up and it doesn't squish out so much. The butyl tape is not, it's not very hard, so the blade cuts through it quite easily. Just kind of take your time. Follow around that outside edge, and you should be able to kind of peel it off of there. Might have to use your razor blade or something to get some of the pieces that are real close to the inside. Yeah, we'll just get this cleaned up and we'll be good to go from there. And that completes our installation of Redline's plunger and bumper door stopper and holder.